So we've got Sharpiegate, which we'll follow up on a little bit later. It now appears that it wasn't merely that Donald Trump held up a Sharpie modified hurricane map. We're now getting reports from White House insiders that Donald Trump personally Sharpied the hurricane map itself. There's one problem with that claim, and I'll talk about it later in the show. But before we even get to that, Donald Trump had a completely separate and crazed and erratic fit on Twitter over the weekend, starting about Barack Obama. Now, remember when Barack Obama was president? I know many of you do. Republicans wouldn't stop saying, hey, Democrats, George W. Bush isn't president anymore. Don't mention George W. Bush. Just talk about Barack Obama. No more talk about Bush. I wish one of them would be intellectually honest enough to give the same advice to Donald Trump and Republicans now. Barack Obama's not president anymore. Hillary Clinton never was president. Stop talking about both of them. But Donald Trump going off on Twitter on Barack Obama, shifting directly from that Twitter tirade into, yes, one related to Hurricane Dorian and the map and fake news. So disclaimer before we get into this. I've said before many times, we don't want to just cover Trump tweets for the sake of covering Trump tweets. And we don't. And in fact, today I'm going to skip over a ton of them because they're not really related. There's tweets that are differently incoherent, which are not particularly relevant to the story we're talking about today. Today, I'm going to focus on specifically Trump's tweets about Obama and the Alabama stuff and fake news. Now, all of what I'm going to show you happened basically within 24 hours, not even early this weekend. So understand, this is sort of about the content of the tweets, but this is happening in one day. This is one day of some of Donald Trump's tweets. This is the president. Look at the emotional instability. Look at the amount of time that is being spent tweeting falsehoods instead of being president. So let's just jump right into it, starting off with the immigration stuff and Obama. The Immigration Law Institute's Christopher Hajek says the Supreme Court has to look at whether DACA is lawful. What they are looking at now is whether Trump's rescission of DACA is lawful. Must consider lawfulness of DACA itself. Looks very odd that President Trump doesn't have the discretion to end the program that President Obama began in his discretion already. I mean, the language is crazy. It's all crazy. That program was unlawful to begin with. I think it's very unlikely that the Supreme Court is going to issue an order reinstating what it believes is an unlawful program. DACA is unlawful. President Obama never had the legal right to sign DACA, and he indicated so at the time of signing. But in any event, how can he have the right to sign and I don't have the right to unsigned? Totally illegal document, which would actually give the president new powers. DACA will be going before the Supreme Court. It is a document that even President Obama didn't feel he had the legal right to sign. He signed it anyway. I mean, this is incoherent, folks. Rest assured that if the Supreme Court does what all say it must based on the law, a bipartisan deal will be made to the benefit of all. So this is the Obama DACA rant, and it makes no sense at all. Obama didn't sign DACA. It was a presidential memo to expand something that already existed. There are more details, but this is not a story about immigration. It is about the unhinged and unstable nature of the president. So there are 4 tweets. They're just rants. They mean nothing of substance, but his followers see that as strong leadership, believe it or not. So then a few hours go by, and Donald Trump tweets about the Fed, another popular target, going from slamming Obama to slamming the Fed, saying, quote, I agree with Jim Cramer. The Fed should lower rates. They were way too early to raise and way too late to cut. And big dose quantitative tightening didn't exactly help either. Where did I find this guy Jerome? Oh, well, you can't win them all. So when he says, where did I find this guy Jerome? He's talking about Fed Chief Jerome Powell, who, of course, Trump picked after bragging that one of the hallmarks of his administration would be appointing the best people. If Jerome's not great, then it's on Trump. Now we're up to 5 tweets. Then he tweets some compliments about Fox News people, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, newly a contributor, Janine Pirro. I'm not even including those. Then he goes back to the hurricane. And remember, this is all the same day. Quote, the fake news media was fixated on the fact that I properly said at the beginnings of Hurricane Dorian that in addition to Florida and other states, Alabama may also be grazed or hit. They went capital C crazy, hoping against hope that I made a mistake, which I didn't. Check out maps. This nonsense has never happened to another president because other presidents aren't doing what you're doing. 4 days of corrupt reporting still without an apology. But there are many things that the fake news media has not apologized to me for, like the witch hunt or Spygate, the lamestream media and their Democrat partner should start playing it straight. It would be so much better for our country. So we're now up to 8 tweets, once again, sort of amalgamating the issues of so-called fake news, the Hurricane Dorian fiasco, making himself out to be the victim and martyr, and calling the Russia probe a hoax conspiracy. This is still one day, Friday. Then tweet 9 in this series is Trump again attacking the so-called fake news. Quote, the economy is great. The only thing adding to, quote, uncertainty is the fake news. That's tweet 9. And it's still September 6th. And I'm not including the ones about Pirro and Sanders. And then he goes into false statements about tariffs. Quote, China just enacted a major stimulus plan with all the tariffs they are paying to the USA, billions and billions of dollars. They need it. In the meantime, our Federal Reserve sits back and does nothing. Now, of course, China doesn't pay the tariffs. American companies buying Chinese stuff pay the tariffs, and then they pass on the cost of those tariffs onto you and me, American consumers. That's the 10th tweet, and these are just the policy ones. Again, he also spent half the day tweeting compliments to a variety of Fox News hosts. Stop talking about Obama. Stop lying about how tariffs work. Stop lying about investigative journalism being fake news. Stop lying about Hurricane Dorian. Trump is trying to bully society and the economy into some kind of stupid submission by attacking media and using Twitter. And they're not fully submitting to him. Some enclaves have submitted to Trump. That's sad. That's disappointing. If we do not vote this out in November of 2020, we deserve another 4 years of this as a society. Now, I know the people who vote for someone else, they don't personally deserve it. But if as a country, we cannot eradicate the type of pseudo and anti-intellectualism and non-thinking, hyper-partisan sticking like glue to this incompetent man, then as a society, as a country, we ultimately will deserve another 4 years of this, which is what we might get. Let me know what you think about all of this. Are you just depressed? Are you experiencing something else? I'm on Twitter at @DPakman. The show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. Have you ever wondered why traditional button-ups look so long and baggy? It's because they were not meant to be worn untucked. Untuck It is the brand you've been looking for because they were specifically designed to be worn untucked. This is the original untucked shirt. It's a modern solution to an old problem. No tucking or tailoring required. No matter your size or shape, these shirts are the perfect untucked length. With more than 50 fit combinations, Untuck It shirts look great on tall, short, slim, and athletic guys of all ages. You can shop online or visit one of Untuck It's stores. I have a bunch of Untuck It shirts now. They fit perfectly, untucked, not too long. Everybody that sees them says, where'd you get that shirt? And I gladly tell them, Untuck It fits my frame perfectly. And the materials are great. The color options are fantastic. Try it on in person at one of Untuck It's 50 stores, or just go to untuckit.com to get started. They even offer free shipping and returns on all orders in the United States. And you can save 20% on your first order by using my code Pakman at checkout. That's UNTUCKIT.com, promo code Pakman.